off relatively unscathed. That was good. That was easy, wasn't it? Cool. Move now to urgent business. There is none. Mine in nature. I've sent you all a list. I'll just go first to Councillor Parker's request of further information update on the Ombudsman report in action. Do you want to speak to that?
Thank you, Mayor. Yes, so back in October, we got the report from the Ombudsman with his recommendations. There are 21 of them, and I would like a paper brought to Council regarding the outcome or completion of those action points or recommendations, so then we can acknowledge the investigation, the recommendations and our actions going forward. So just to be able to have a complete completion for this would be appreciated.
Perfect. Thank you. Everyone comfortable with that? Councillor Piddington, you were comfortable, weren't you? Yep, perfect. I think we've got answers there. So look, I'll just for the record, I'll just read through that list that I flicked out to you. So this was one I've been thinking about for a while, but investigative payment. So this is just a request for action. We don't need officers to speak to any of this, but investigative payment solution for our Freedom camping areas with a focus on Caroline Bay. So is there a revenue opportunity sitting in that? Next one, we've talked about this, but I thought it was important that we have a formal request for a report. So traffic management, request a report on the cost of traffic management sitting within our contracts. Even if we can't change that as such at the moment, it'd be really interesting to know those numbers. But we will make sure everyone's got the right ones that they need to follow up on. Subcontracting, investigate across council where subcontracting is occurring within some of those major contracts, and there again, can they be delivered in-house, such as street sweeping, rubbish collection, understanding that they will sit in contracts, but I'm keen to understand, can we look to alternative ways slash save money. Next one was trades investigation, the value of small trades outside large contracts, though that is a balance of procurement. Are we doing that right? And two, is there a better way to move forward on that? The next one was, we've talked about this before, but I wanted a formal request an OIA to Waka Kotahi on state highway funding in the district, because I really do want to know how much they're spending year on year. So I think that's something that we should be doing year on year, or at least them providing the transparency, if that's a presentation back to us. This is follow-up on Councillor Pye's question that came through. It was just investigation into the losses last year and again year to date with waste. What are the actions required to run that activity at break even? We talked 6 months ago around fees and charges. We can change those mid-term, year if we need to. So let's make sure we consider that so we don't have a loss if we do need to move that in the new year. So that's another one. I've added one. I just want a clearer process for working with chairs on agendas across, and I know Councillor Pye, you and I have talked about this, just so that timing is built in so chairs have the opportunity to properly check those agendas, so we'll just increase transparency and they can have further input. So that might be that we just need a longer lead time. We may have to forego some items from time to time hitting an agenda, but I'd rather the items come through properly rather than rushed. Also, another request is a quarterly activity report, which we do get from some, but I'd also like that to include a quarterly forward work program across some of our activities. We can dial down into what that looks like, but it would be interesting. Just use parks. What are the capital improvements? What are some of those things that are going to be in the forward work program? We get it really well with roading. It'd be cool to see that across some of the others. I don't think it's going to take a lot because the team will know what they're doing anyway. Just a formal request, and this is following up from the workshop earlier, on assets not being utilised that could be sold, i.e. small pieces of land. There is the Royal Garden, gang pad, understanding those values, those sorts of things. And I think that's it, but they're really just requests for further information. What I'm proposing moving forward is that we have action requests, report requests. It'll sit under my name with some lead time so we can formally ask for reports, and then that makes it nice and transparent for everyone, and then there's just good follow through. Councillor Puddington.
I just wondered if we could work on some sort of template for financial impact when something comes to us, a suggestion to do something, you know, whether it's being rate funded, loan funded, the cost of it ongoing, you know, and when it expires, if it's a capital project, it runs for X amount of years, with some real numbers around it. Because to Councillor Pye's, we put our hand up and we don't really know what the impact is.
Yeah, and there will be some work, so it's a combination of financial impact statement plus sometimes it's business case as well that might support it. So it's a combination probably of capital and OPEX is moving forward. But yep, no, that's a good point, and that's I think been picked up by Chief Executive. Was there anything further? Sorry to just load that on you, but I think it's important that everyone over the summer period has something to do. No, Councillor Parker.
I was just following up with you yourself, Councillor Puddington, regarding Kennells Road. Is that being brought up from Mine and Nature?
Sorry, Kennells Road?
Yeah.
Oh, no, we got a... Yeah, go for it, Councillor Puddington.
They're just waiting for the national government in terms of 100 days to see what they move the Resource Management Act and other things, which may make it a lot easier to progress. So, sorry, I should have updated you. I asked Mr Cooper about that and it seems sensible.
In that feedback, can we get included what is mandatory and what is nice to have out of those investigations and reports? So for things to start moving forward, so we know what we definitely have to do before we can break earth, or what is we have to do plus what are the nice to haves, so we can have a look at making some decisions.
Yes, you're talking in regard to that.
Different consents and investigations and about Kennells Road.
Okay, yeah, perfect. I think Mr Cooper's picked that up. Do you need to speak to that, or are you comfortable?
Yeah, through you, Your Worship. Councillor Parker, I think councillors asked us to go away, look at feasibility and come back with some indicative numbers, and that was in terms of infrastructure and other things, and what the costs might be for a variation, a plan change or whatever it might be, that would deliver what was being asked for. So that work's underway. Almost, I'd say it's we've got a report in draft, and we're now just waiting to see what policy direction we get to see if that changes anything in that report before we come back to council. When we do come back to council, we would be looking for some direction from the governing body as to what next steps might be. So those indicative numbers will be in there, and it'll be a matter for council to decide on what the next steps will be based on that report.
In that report, I mean, I'm no developer, but we outlined what different investigations need to go forward to start, and then, like, you know, does there have to be like environmental or archaeology, all those kinds of things? Because sometimes I think we do these different investigations because they're nice to have, but they're not actually core to get things moving along.
So those types of investigations on how it would impact a transport network, how different intersections, getting in and out of highways, how that would work, access to school, active transport, stormwater requirements, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes along with that that would have to be done if a plan change or variation was going to happen. That's just normal. We won't be bringing that with you to council, but that would be indicated that that sort of thing would be required for it to progress through to a hearing or whatever council decides.
Brilliant. Thank you. That's it. Good meeting, everyone. Yeah, Councillor Jackson.
If you would indulge me, Your Worship, just on behalf of Seaplay, a bit of an early Christmas present, obviously, and just wanted to thank the council for their support. In particular, Bill Steens, I don't know if Bill's still here, but Bill, who's been supportive all along the way. Special mention to yourself for being supportive. Peter Burt, who was very helpful in the early days about how to deal with council when I was outside of council. Councillor Scott, for her support too with the fundraising side of things. So, yeah, it's a real gift for the community, so thank you very much, and the support of all the other councillors that got on behind the project too. Thank you.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, Councillor Jackson. Where was I? Yes, thank you. Thanks. Final meeting, council meeting of the year. So thank you to all the staff who've done a great job for the year. I know you don't get a lot of thanks, but we do appreciate all the work that you do. Thanks to the elected members. Make sure everyone enjoys a really good time off, make good decisions, and we want to see you all return safely after the break. So thank you. I appreciate that. Meeting closed.